The end-of-life bill's on its way and David Seymour is out to kill us all.
The eyes are 69, the nose are 51.
Personally, I feel genuinely conflicted about euthanasia given my intense fear of death and my intense dislike of David Seymour. So I've invited some clear-headed people around to talk it through. So, we're all here for a perfectly natural dinner party. Please dig in, get started. Let's eat some food and talk about euthanasia.
This one's a cardboard.
This one here.
Yeah, yeah.
You wouldn't believe it, would you?
Wouldn't believe it, would you? But this one is surfaced so you can actually draw on paint or paste or...
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. And this one here is a woven coffin.
That was Bryn's favourite.
This is my personal favourite.
It's very tactile, isn't it? I love the way you're touching
Yes.
it, and that's what people do. Especially the baby ones are beautiful because you can actually hold them.
I thought I would be more chill, but now that we're talking about it, I do feel a bit weird.
anxious, yeah.
It does make me a little bit
Well, as soon as
anxious.
you mentioned the baby, my like whole butthole was like, oh no.
I think that gets everyone, the baby.
Yeah, fucking hell. Oh my God.
I won't mention babies again.
For me, like, the fundamental understanding of euthanasia would be that a person decides that the suffering that they're experiencing is no longer compatible with living a good quality of life and chooses to pick when that ended and how it ended.
Well, one of the problems, it's the debate has been polluted by so much scaremongering.
I'd love to know what the scaremongering is.
Yeah, the elderly abuse, that's the big one.
Yeah.
That will pop off.
Yeah, I want that inheritance now, I can't wait. Or the coercion.
That is a genuine concern of mine, is that the implicit coercion, like a person getting nervous about being a burden on their friends or family or something like that.
What is a burden on a family? I am living with incurable cancer. I have died. I've been on life support. And not once did I feel, or did anyone make me feel, that I was a burden.
It's interesting because I have attempted suicide before. For those 20 years when I was having that suicidal ideation, I did feel like a burden in many respects. In the end, I actually attempted suicide 6 times over the course of those, 20 years that I was living with this injury. And not once was I ever questioned about why I'd attempted suicide, because the medical profession were constantly like, well, you're a tetraplegic, so why wouldn't you want to die? Because there is a perception that if you have my disability, my quality of life is so poor, why would you want to live? And that's over 80% of health professionals feel this way.
But Claire, let's not talk about disability because that doesn't qualify.
Sorry, do you mean you don't qualify under the bill?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, but I've been monitoring, what has been happening in other countries overseas and Canada, which our bill is very close to.
Yeah.
Justin Trudeau has said, yes, we will be widening the criteria to include disability.
So this is what we use for shrouding. So there's a lot of people that want to be shrouded.
Shrouding,
So, yeah, so that means, a person's body is wrapped. So we have all this lovely cotton here. We can use anything, even fabric that the family want. We wrap the person's body, never the face initially, that's last. And they might lay here, go home, people see them, so people can kind of talk to them.
like
kiss you.
this.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah. I would love to... I was about to say I'd love to get this for my mum.
Like a Christmas present? I'd love to get that for my mum.
I've been trying to find a position and trying to not be over-influenced by my Catholic background. I'm a bit of a coward, so I can anticipate that real hardcore suffering I wouldn't be very good at it. I suppose I'm ambivalent now.
Tahiranui, what's your position on this? Because I know you've kind of gone on like a little bit of a journey with it. Like you were against euthanasia as a concept, is that right? And then you've kind of come around?
Yeah, so I'm the intention of euthanasia. I support that. It's the practical implementation of it. I'm not so sure. My mother had a prolonged cancer journey. She was a devout Catholic and she was also very strong in her tikanga Māori. When she got really sick, I remember her one time saying, if euthanasia was available to me, I would take it. The main reason, apart from the pain and the suffering, was the loss of dignity and having to put our father through having to wash her, clean her. I thought about it. Well, mum's just dropped a bombshell on me. It seemed to me that it became a part of a bigger issues for Māori beliefs and values, because it also includes IVF treatment. It also includes becoming an organ donor.
Because the body is tapu.
Because the body is tapu.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a part of that bigger conversation. Our beliefs and values could possibly not be fit for purpose in the modern environment.
Wow.
Can I ask a question? What did your father think?
Well, Dad just said, that's my job, is to look after your mum. I think if Mum had asked him, I dare say he would have said no.
Yes, and my husband would too. Yeah, I tried to think about what it would be like if I was at that stage. And I thought I couldn't make a decision myself. This would have to be a family decision.
But I don't think that should be in law. They wanted to bring that into the bill. Passive euthanasia in New Zealand.
Yeah,
Hello.
g'day. How you going?
Good. How are you,
Good.
David?
I brought dessert.
Come on in.
Oh, the man.
Yeah, the man, the myth, the legend.
Hey.
So how does that feel?
A bit weird, but also remarkably comfortable.
Yeah.
And like, if I went to sleep like this, I'd probably have quite a good nap. This is a nice coffin. If I die, I would like this one. When I die.
The beautiful thing about filming this is that now we know.
Yeah.
Like, if your parents are like, I think she'd like this, be like, no, what?
We
Bad
know.
news.
In this scenario, I die and my parents are still alive.
Maybe parents was the wrong thing to say.
What happens to me? What are you planning?
Look, I think that it's actually going to be challenging to get the referendum through. And the reason for that, as we've seen, people are able to make contentions with no evidential basis, and nevertheless they seem plausible and they take a lot of debating to defeat. And their reasoning is, we can't find any correlation, but it's David Seymour's obligation to prove there's not a correlation.
It's interesting what you say, though, and that, like, I would argue that maybe that should be the case when we're dealing with something so serious. Maybe it should be the case that we are beyond rigorous in our assessment of it.
Okay, but the government has in place a set of laws now. Parliament does. Are you prepared to defend the amateur violence of suicide, the suffering, the people writhing in agony, the, I guess, informal euthanasia that goes on now? Because that all happens under the current law. So if we're going to talk about where we put the onus, maybe people who oppose the change should have to prove that there's nothing wrong with the status quo.
But
So
do
it's
people
pretty
really
straightforward.
understand it? See, my worry is that even when I read the bill, and I'm doing a PhD, it's a very difficult bill to understand. There is also a lot of academic stuff that, like, for example, that recent academic article that came out from Otago University, one of their recommendations was that there wasn't enough consultation with the minority groups and the vulnerable populations that will be affected by this bill. A lot of us are going to be affected.
Can I, sorry, just
Not just
before
myself, I'm talking about people with terminal illnesses who are friends of mine.
But again, you've got to have this debate based on the hard evidence of what actually happens, not what is speculated might happen.
But we still need a
raise
voice.
a fair point, though. The consultation process needs to be as wide and broad as possible. I would hope that some representation was made at select committee level and prior to that from Māori leaders.
There was a variety, actually, of people who came forward, and it was highly contested.
I think also Māori have a lot to give. If this bill was to go ahead, I would love to see some sort of conversation about the Te Whare Tapawha model. So we look at other things that are holistically affecting the person, not just the terminal illness.
But assisted dying is not and never will be compulsory. It's a choice. If we...
It's a solution for many.
Well, if it's a solution to a ghastly, grisly death that I'm likely to have, call it a solution. But...
It's a solution to the fact that we don't have proper health care for
that's
people.
a different issue.
If I may jump in...
My right to choose the manner of my death.
Yes, it is.
See, that's the philosophical question that I'm, is life a personal belonging?
Yes.
Well, I think it's shared. My life couldn't be my life without my sharing it with a whole lot of people. And somehow we have a joint responsibility to care for it.
Well,
Can I, excuse me, if I could
so
just
if I'm
interrupt
writhing
before-
around, my great consolation is you care for me. I'm sorry, my life,
Well,
my
how
choice.
many people die writhing around that have completely uncontrollable pain?
Well, having gone up and down the country and spoken to literally thousands of people about this, a lot. And if
Oh,
you
no,
ask-
I think
and if
I
you
need a
ask
more
yourself-
scientific
if you
answer
ask-
than
If
that.
you ask yourself that by defending the status quo, you are forcing people to suffer
Me.
terribly.
Me.
So it's not like
I
let's
am
all be
an
cautious.
actual person. I don't want to die. But when I do die, it's no one else's business, the quality of my death.
I think we need to understand that, along with people like yourself, there will be collateral damage because it's going to be...
You're saying I do not trust not one, but 2 GPs and a psychiatrist.
Yes, I am
At
saying
3
that.
random.
Absolutely, I'm saying that.
Who do you trust? Do you trust anyone?
They're going to be making the decisions whether you live or die. Do we want these people
No,
who have
I make the decision.
There's
Can
also
I-
vulnerable people that will be coerced or whatever the situation may be. It's like the death penalty, and I know we hate bringing this into it because it's a different
Totally
thing.
irrelevant.
It is
Yes,
absolutely.
but the reality is right now, if this goes into law, there will be collateral damage, and I have a problem with it because I know
Appropriate.
people
Can I just-
that would choose
We
this,
have collateral
and they're
damage
choosing
with
it because they
passive
don't have
euthanasia.
support.
Can I just talk about this? There's a misconception here that this is a choice to die. It's not a choice to die. It's a choice about how you die,
Yes.
if you're dying.
Yes.
And so this whole idea that it's somehow a substitute for healthcare, that only works if you think it's a choice to die or not. It's not a choice to die, it's a choice about how you die, if you're dying.
May I just interject really quickly here and say to Huranui, is there any point in this conversation where you feel you have wavered on your support for euthanasia?
No. Although I understand what you're saying, Claire, from a purely selfish perspective, I would like to have that choice.
Now that you're in this coffin, are you pro-euthanasia?
Yes.
Are you still? Are you pro?
Yes, I am.
You are?
Yes.
Wow.
Are you?
I'm confused.
I think that it depends on a person's capacity to suffer.
Yeah.
And, I think we should have the right to say we don't want to suffer that much in a disease process anyway.
It's just so scary, the idea of picking a time, of being like, here it is, I guess Tuesday midday.
Yeah.
That's me.
But I do appreciate sort of being able to prepare for your own death. Like I do kind of weirdly like this idea of going like, I like this coffin and I like this thing, so that the family isn't left with all these huge decisions. I remember when my mum passed away, they gave us like a booklet of coffins, and it was just like you feel like you've been hit by a train, and so you're just like, I don't know, like that one.
Anyone will
Whereas
do.
like if we knew, or if
Yeah, if you knew
if
in
people knew
advance.
that was like, oh, this would be nice.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All right, good night.
May I ask now the table, if we went around and we had to vote on this tomorrow, what box you think you would be ticking? David?
Well, I think I'd be a yes.
Okay, all right.
Definitely a yes.
Yeah, I'm a yes still.
If I had to vote today, I'd be a no.
Unfortunately, I'd be a no at the moment.
You got the casting vote.
That's how I've always dreamed it would be.
No, we've got 3 yeses here, darling.
No, I'm a yes. I know I'm in favour. I'm in favour of euthanasia, and my fear is that to not pass this is to make a decision for other people. Does anyone want a cup of tea, by the way, or coffee?
There's a
Sure.
couple of things I'd be grateful to be able to say.
Yeah, sure. Go on. Say what you want to say, and I'll make some coffee. But I'm listening to you.
Yeah, one is
friend of mine, her grandma passed away, and then she said that night she felt like someone was touching her feet, like comfortingly, like in a nice way.
Yeah.
And then when my opa passed away, my dad rang me at like 4 a.m. and he's like, "Opa's passed away, just to let you know." Da, da, da. And then I put the phone down and I was like, "Please don't touch my feet." Please, I don't want you to touch my feet, even if it's comforting.